Welcome to Guaranteed Rate Field. It is halfway to St. Patrick's Day. Tonight at the ballpark as the Sox and Angels get together. Wear your green. Although black and red are the primary colors of these two teams, it is halfway to St. Patrick's Day, and we are celebrating, as always. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Chuck Garfien is downstairs. And last night we saw the power of Shohei Ohtani. Even though he's got that UCL injury, with the bat, he's lethal.
I think Ohtani just wants to keep swinging the bat and playing before he has to have that surgery, and we'll see just how that goes. But as far as swinging the bat, he can swing it. 4 home runs the last 3 games. He's got big power. That was against Texas. But mostly a pull hitter from the left side, and as long as he doesn't have that surgery, he can keep on swinging the bat, which is something that he's really enjoyed this year. Hitting in the high 280s, 19 home runs, 50 driven in. This one just made it, but it did, despite Adam Engel's great effort.
He did certainly nearly make the catch on that. The glove went over the wall. And in terms of the mound today for the Sox, James Shields, who 23 times has gone at least 6 innings, he takes the ball.
Last time out, he was absolutely brilliant against Boston. He went 6 innings, didn't give up anything to the best lineup in the American League, certainly maybe all of baseball. The slider was good. 6 innings, no runs on just 4 hits, a couple of walks and 6 strikes out. And our Sox defeated their Sox behind James Shields. So quite a day, and hopefully more of the same here as he continues to throw the baseball despite having a record that, well, he's not terribly proud of this year. Against the Angels, 7-5. And Matt Shoemaker against our Sox. Shoemaker, 5 starts, 2-2, ERA just over 4. He's a splitter pitcher. That'll be his big pitch. If the splitter is good, Shoemaker will be good. If it's not, we'll hit him.
Sox and Angels, game number 2 is on the way from Guaranteed Rate Field. Home runs galore last night. Avi into the jet stream and gone, but Ohtani had too much, taking it just out over the glove of Adam Engel. Sox and Angels and Chuck Garfien too after this.
White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Just enjoying the music here at the ballpark. It is halfway to St. Patrick's Day. I feel like we're in Dublin.
Very nice.
Weather too feels like we're in Dublin. Low ceiling, grayscale clouds, and the Sox and the Angels for game number 2 of this series. Nick Capra is celebrating halfway to St. Patrick's Day as well. There's your hat. Looks really good. Southpaw, Aaron Gobra. It's a nice flat cap as well as James Shields out to the mound, the veteran leader of this White Sox staff, and he is ready to take on an Angels team that's 69-72. And here is the Webb Auto Group starting lineup for Mike Scioscia's Halos. Calhoun, Fletcher, and Trout at the top. Mike Trout intentionally walked a couple times yesterday. Then Ohtani, Upton, and Simmons, Fernandez, Ward, and Arcia.
Let's take a look at the defense and how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there tonight. It's Daniel, Adam, and Avisail left to right in the outfield, with Yomer, Tim, Yohan, and Matt in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is James Shields. On for his 30th start. He's trying mightily to get to 200 innings, and you'd assume that he would get there. So looking for his 7th win, the ERA of 4.39. That's been going down as the year has moved along, and hopefully the stuff will be good tonight. The umpires for the game tonight: Chris Guccione has the plate. Ben May is at first base. The crew chief Larry Vanover is at second, and Hunter Wendelstedt is at third.
It's windy as all get out today.
It's going to be very windy the next couple of days. It'll very much be a factor, as Mike Scioscia, the skipper of this ball club, would love to at the very least get to 500. He's not going to make the playoffs, but he wants his team, like Ricky Renteria, to continue to play as hard as they can, win as many as they can, and we'll see what happens. So we told you about the winds tonight. It's blowing across very briskly, and that will probably keep up all night long. So weather, not going to rain, a lot of wind, and making the outfielding a little treacherous.
Feels like Halloween.
It's that kind of weather. It'll be here in the not too distant future.
Chill in the air. Cole Calhoun, David Fletcher, Mike Trout coming up for the Angels here in the first. Sox trying to bounce back from yesterday's loss, and 3 in a row in the loss column for the first time since the 2nd week of August. Shields against Calhoun, who was 0 for 3 last night with a run scored. And away we go at Guaranteed Rate Field. First pitch hit in the air, right center field. Angle is there to make the catch. Got to work with the wind this evening, and one gone. Adams is trying to hang on to his glove tonight.
Should be able to do that. The timing was brilliant, but unfortunately the glove slipped off his hand as the ball hit it, and it stopped what would have been his 4th miraculous catch of this season.
3 in a week.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually.
David Fletcher, who's been tough on the Sox this year, 8 for 19. First year Angel. Takes ball 1. Mentioned James Shields with 23 games of at least 6 innings so far this year. That's 3rd in the American League, 6th in Major League Baseball.
Well, look, James has always prided himself on taking the baseball, going out there, picking up his 200 innings, and getting anywhere from 30 to 32 starts. Looks like he's going to be able to get to 32 again this year, and looks like he'll be able to go over 200 innings.
Floated over shortstop. Tim went up for the rebound and couldn't bring it in. Fletcher, a 1-out single. As we check in for the first time, but not the last time, here's Chuck Carfine.
Hey there, guys. Mike Trout is at the plate right now, and with him being the greatest hitter on the planet, we want to know what his approach would be tonight against James Shields. So I asked Trout before the game, and he said, quite simply, look for a pitch to hit. He said Shields does not give in. He knows how to pitch. He's going to try to keep you off balance. You're going to think a fastball's coming, and all of a sudden Shields throws you a changeup. By the way, Shields is very quietly closing in on 200 innings for the season. He's at 182 2/3 right now, and if he gets to 200, it'll be the 10th time in his career.
It's pretty remarkable what he's done in terms of innings. And again, we've talked about this before. What he has saved both the bullpen and, frankly, other starting pitchers is sizable.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not going to be one of those years that he's going to look at fondly, but it's one of those years where he was able to accomplish a lot of different things. And one of them was consistently taking the baseball, which is at a premium in baseball these days.
Mike Trout made it sound so simple when he was talking to Chuck, by the way. Yeah, look for a good pitch to hit and hit it.
That's it. Pretty robust numbers, and he's always enjoyed facing James Shields. So this is not a pleasant at bat for James.
Ball is in there for a strike to Trout. So Mike Trout, 31 homers, 22 out of 24 in stolen bases. He is the second player to have 30 home runs and 20 steals 3 times before age 26. The only other player, Willie Mays.
That's pretty impressive.
Two and two on Trout. He's hit the ball well here, but if you show what he's done just about every stadium, numbers are going to look garish for the home team.
This is pretty much what he does. Hitting the 320s, with a lot of home runs, driving some runs, and make some wonderful catches in center field.
It's hard to dispute him being the best player in baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at everything that he's done in the game, you're hard pressed to find anybody else who could compete with that rarefied air on a yearly basis.
Time called. Very demonstratively, Chris Guccione fled.
Fletcher 3 for 3 in stolen bases. So you got to watch him closely. These Angels have swiped 77 and caught only 17 times. Those are good numbers.
Throw to first. Fletcher stays on the bag, and you take a look at wins above replacement by position players since 2012. That is a huge gap. It's a chasm.
Pretty good players, all of them, but Mike Trout leading the parade by a wide margin.
Fletcher at first, 2 and 2 for Trout. And it's downstairs, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you would think they would be sending Fletcher. This might be a nice time for James to give him his best move at first base.
Got Ohtani on deck. His pocket of the lineup did some damage last night, certainly. There he goes, 3 and 2. Trout hits it in the air, center field. Angle at the warning track, at the wall, it is gone. Trout's 7th home run in this ballpark gives the Angels the lead. He touches up Shields again.
It's 32 home runs, 65 driven in, and an Angel lead at 2-0.
4 of his 6 career hits against James Shields have been home runs. This one on a payoff.
James caught the inside part of the plate, which is not what you want to do when you drop down sidearm. It's a forward home run replay. Like Trout, who has always hit James Shields. now is hitting over 400 against him. Out over the national sign for a souvenir.
And again, this is just his age 26 season. He turned 27 in August, but the bulk of this year is spent at age 26. And a guy who, he's part of the reason you wish as a fan the schedule didn't weigh so heavily on divisional games, because you'd like for everybody here in Chicago to see him more than once a season. Although playing against him is not terribly fun.
No, unless you can pitch around him, as the Sox have done. Put him on base a couple times so you don't have to worry about what he just did.
2-0 for Ohtani. That's a rocket up the middle and through. A base hit for Shohei Ohtani, and a third straight hit for the Angels in the first.
This is where exit velocity really helps you. It's not in the length of home runs that will plague any pitcher. It's getting the ball through the infield. The higher the exit velocity, the easier it is to get it through the infield. And if you hit the ball as hard as Ohtani does, you're going to get a few base hits. That's why that batting average is up around 290.
Slugging percentage rapping on the door of 600.
It's been very impressive.
Now Upton takes ball one on Ohtani. He said this week he knows that Tommy John surgery was the recommendation, but his elbow really isn't a major part of what he does at the plate, so he wants the at-bats before the season ends.
Yeah, I can't blame him, because he knows if he does have that surgery, he's going to be shelved for quite some time.
Upton goes after a pitch just out of the zone, 1-1 off the changeup from Shields.
Outfield pretty much straight away. Infield playing him as a dead pull hitter. And we've seen this type of defense a lot. A dead pull hitter when he hits it on the ground, straight away hitter when he hits it in the air.
Runners off, throw down to second is high, and a stolen base for Ohtani. You saw the stolen base success probability. That takes into account the size of the lead, the runner's speed, the pitcher's track record of holding runners on and quickness to the plate, along with the catcher's ability to throw him out, and it was at about 90% when Ohtani took off.
He's 8 out of 9 right now with that stolen base.
Two one. Fouled off right side, 2-2. Well, you see what Ohtani's doing. We heard the news about Michael Kopech yesterday, and you'd be hard pressed as a baseball fan if you had 3 wishes not to use one on UCLs that never tear.
Yeah, that would be a startling revelation, but unfortunately, it's not a natural position for your arm to be in when you're a major league pitcher. And so arms break down, and the man you're looking at with the hood is facing a very long rehab.
Time called again. It's 3 timeouts. The Angels only have 1 22nd timeout remaining in this half.
Kevin and James are having a hard time hooking up on the signs, so that's the reason for this prolonged staring contest.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Shields says A very deliberate yes, a sweeping yes, and a check swing ground ball through the right side. Moncada was covering the bag. Ohtani scores, check swing roller, And 3-0 Angels.
77 driven in for Upton, an excuse me swing that turns into gold because nobody's home on the right side. This one just trickles through. And that's 4 hits in a row.
Angels just evidently executed a line change on their bench with a whole new group of people onto the bench. Second line offense here in the first as Simmons comes up. And Shields looks over at first base. Angels saw James earlier this year. That was back in Anaheim on July the 25th. They got him for 7 hits, 6 earned runs, just 88 pitches in 4 innings. And that fastball misses the mark. Next pitch will be number 20 of this first inning.
James has always thrown pretty well against these Angels, but it's a tough first inning. He's 7-5. Lifetime his ERA just below 3.5.
Rifles in a fastball 1-1 to Simmons, who last night was 2 for 5 with a home run in the 7th. Final run of the game. Third base side and foul, 1-2 for Andrelton Simmons. This Angels team 19 back of first place Houston, which is 88-53 starting play today. A's 3.5 back when everything began this afternoon. A's were winners 8-4 against Texas. Houston beat Boston 6-3, so that leads still 3.5. That was yesterday with both teams winning. Today Houston up 5-2 on Boston. The A's are up late as well, 8-6. One-two. Breaking ball wrapped to short. Anderson, Moncada, and the stretch is there for a double play. That'll end the inning in a timely fashion for James Shields. 3 on the board for the Angels, though. Genesis and Hyundai's the best price. Go to webcars.com. Moncada, Sanchez, Garcia, Polka, Castillo, and Davidson, then Anderson, Smith, and Engel, your starting 9.
Let's take a look at how Mike Scioscia is going to line them up defensively for the Angels. It's going to be Upton, Trout, and Calhoun in the outfield with Ward, Simmons, Fletcher, and Fernandez in the infield. Francisco Arcia, gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Matt Shoemaker. Just his third start of the year. He's had a lot of physical problems. Throwing the ball with pretty good velocity these days, and he's got a good fastball and a splitter, which is his favorite pitch, his secondary pitch. But when that's good, he's good.
Just a couple starts deep into this year due to a forearm problem after some health issues, including a line drive off the head a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that doesn't usually help you very much.
First one is a strike to Yoan Moncada, who's reached base in 16 of his last 17 games. Trying to hit the finish line strong in the last few weeks. Into the glove, 1-2 from Shoemaker.
Shoemaker's best year by far back in 2014. 3.04 ERA, 20 starts, a 16-4 record, 7 appearances out of the pen.
A little bit low there at 2-2. That season, he was in second place for the Rookie of the Year in the American League to Jose Abreu. Out of Eastern Michigan. That ball's roped to right field. Moncada has a chance at 2 here. Calhoun got to it fairly quickly, and Moncada is in there holding the bag. It's a leadoff double.
Good way to start it off, and testing the arm of Cole Calhoun. Looked like a splitter again, and he stayed on top, drove it into right field, and then Calhoun sets up nicely for the throw. Doesn't get there near in time as Simmons does a nice job of holding the tag on. And Yoan with the play right in front of him, turning on the Jets.
He has easy speed.
Yeah, he can run. He can really run.
Double number 24 for Moncada. Now Sanchez, who's been an on-base machine recently. In the air, right field, and away from Calhoun. Moncada could backstroke home. Sanchez to second base. Back-to-back doubles. It's 3-1.
RBI number 49 for Yomer. 28th double of the year. He pulls this ball, and no chance for Calhoun to get it. So 2 batters, 1 run. Cuts the lead to 2.
You kind of get the inkling that 3's not going to do it tonight.
Nope, wouldn't think so. Not the first 2 at-bats the boys have had.
It's a happy camper right there. Yoan Moncada. Avi Garcia now, who was on base 4 times yesterday. Shoemaker's outside with ball 1, and Avi's still managing that knee issue, but willing to play through it. He's gotten some rest recently, and now in the lineup a couple days in a row after the off day. To third base, Ward. We're on number 1. So Daniel Palka, an early tying run as the Sox try to cobble together against the Angels right-hander a rally here in the first.
21 home runs for a rookie. A nice solid season for Daniel Polka.
Second most for a left-handed Sox rookie as he slashes this ball to left field and down. Sanchez held up and Upton spins it back in. So runners at the corners on the third hit of the first inning for the Sox.
Daniel hit that one awfully hard. It was sinking and Upton thought he had a shot at it. Didn't work out that way. Just reaches out, hits the daylights out of it, drops it in front of Upton, and wisely Nick Capra decides to hold Yolmer.
Evidently we've got a matching group of three there. That's a strike to Wellington Castillo, who makes his fourth start since coming back from the suspension. See the jerseys billowing in the wind. Umpire Chris Guccione looked like he was going to blow away.
It's blowing straight in now from center field, so the wind is shifting somewhat, and now very much a pitcher's wind.
Second base, Fletcher and Simmons in two. Sox get one, that's all. Couple of double plays in the first. 3-1 Angels.
Game.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Mediacom in the Quad Cities. Which is your favorite of the Quad Cities?
Davenport.
Not Moline?
No, I would have said that.
You got a great point, honestly. That's what I get for making conversation. Yes.
Old Davenport.
Got to bottle up rapport like that. Start selling it on the shelves. 1-0 to Fernandez, the rookie for the Angels. Out of Cuba. Little cue shot to third. Sanchez accepts it and throws him out. 1 away. On the menu, other than witty repartee, is some White Sox history. A walk-off win against Cy Young for the White Sox. The Ravens are all set at wide receiver, and we'll show you why, involving an Oriole who took one on the chin, very literally. And then in Sticks and Stone, you face 3 future managers.
Did I hit any of them?
I don't know. Remember when you said that you're not supposed to hit people and Acuna was right and yada yada yada?
I do believe that.
No, I understand.
So when it happens, it always is a mistake. Most of the time, always a mistake. Occasionally, it is a mistake some of the time.
Again, you are betrayed by that smile of yours and the glint in your eye. That ball fades inside. 2-0 on Ward, who was 1 for 4 last night and came out for a defensive replacement late in the game.
Yolmer now moves back deep at third with a 2-0 count. Nope.
That one fouled back toward us.
Not quite high enough, though. Don't worry. I'd have had you.
Yeah, that's a no. That whole conversation about people getting hit. It's outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Here's a look at the foul ball.
Well, one of us was bailing.
Yeah.
And the other was me.
Okay, let's recue the foul ball from Anaheim, kids. Sanchez, a little bit more daring than we are for out number 2.
Nice play by Yolmer. He knew exactly where he was able to lean over the screen and make the play. So Ward looking for another life. He doesn't find one. Good concentration by Yolmer.
See what Omar and Carlos did? They're smart too. They don't want to get hit by that stuff.
Yeah.
You got that foul ball from Anaheim, Keon? Can we cue that up? 2 down for Arcia. And it's fouled away. No balls and a strike. Right after we left Anaheim, evidently, there was another screamer into the booth when the Mariners were in town, and Dave Sims almost got clocked.
Yeah, at that level where that booth is in Anaheim, they come back there in a hurry.
Up the middle, Anderson in a 1-2-3 inning for James Shields. Duck, we're going bottom 2 after this. Home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. A little bit of a chilly night at the ballpark tonight. Feels like September because it is September.
It is a little chilly at the park, but there's going to be a warm-up. Unfortunately, we're going to be in the middle of a very long road trip when this city starts warming itself up.
Did you pack your 2 bags already? You ready to go?
I'm psyched up. Yeah, close. partially packed.
Davidson first against Shoemaker. Pumps in a strike. That road trip will be to Kansas City for 3, then an off day. 3 in Baltimore, your old fair city. And then an off day, then 3 in Cleveland, your hometown.
The Indians making a shambles of that race.
It would expand the definition of race to suggest
Yeah, it's not much of a race at this point. 15.5 back coming in.
Indians scored 7 in the 5th against the Blue Jays today. Davidson in the air, second base. And Fletcher. Hey, a player, a general manager, a broadcaster, and a White Sox legend. Watch Hawk, presented by Ford. It's the documentary on Hawk Harrelson, one of the most colorful and influential personalities in baseball. Thursday at 7, only on NBC Sports Chicago. Had the advanced screening at ArcLight, which went beautifully, I'm told. Chuck Garfien reported on that yesterday. Some coarse language from one of us.
Wonder which one that could be.
Could be anyone, really. As Tim Anderson takes a strike. Tim 0 for 4 yesterday. But a nice play again to close out the top of the 2nd inning, getting around a ball at shortstop.
And getting a whole lot on it, and the throw was as accurate as you could expect it to be. It was right there.
Talked about the splitter in the case of Ohtani and the injury that he's felt with the UCL tear and the possible Tommy John surgery. Shoemaker throwing a splitter as well. What causes the strain on the arm from that pitch?
There are only 2 pitches that when you're actually in the process of throwing the baseball, you don't have the ball on your fingertips. Those are the splitter and the spitter. Not to be confused. But because they both literally squirt out and leave your hand with no spin whatsoever, it puts an inordinate amount of stress on the throwing elbow. So if you're throwing in the high 90s or 100 like Ohtani can, there is more stress than if you're throwing in the low 90s like Shoemaker. So Shoemaker can get away with it, although he's had some problems. But you can't really say it's specifically because of the splitter. But I believe it is detrimental to the arm health of any pitcher. But it has to be a rare guy. In other words, a guy that throws in the upper 90s and uses a splitter as a wipeout pitch. And Ohtani usually does that, and his splitter is terrific.
Anderson to Trout. For out number 2, we saw some shirts that look alike. Chuck Garfien, investigative reporter, is there. Chuck?
Yeah, this is John. John is getting married October the 6th. This is his bachelor party. They're all wearing these shirts. And they're supposed to be of John, but boy, they really look like a guy who plays for the White Sox by the name of Daniel Palka. Would you agree?
It looks a whole lot like him.
Yeah, they say it has nothing to do with Daniel Palka.
Oh, they just don't want to pay royalties. Are you kidding?
This is Daniel Palka, right?
Absolutely.
No, it's John.
They say it's John.
John Polka?
John Palka? Is this John Palka?
Close, but no.
Okay, well, it's this guy's last name. I can't even pronounce it. That's his last name. And we need to show Daniel Palka.
It's Pasowitz, Chuck. Come on.
Pasowitz. I didn't want to say it incorrectly, but anyway.
Steve may have. He doesn't care, though.
They're having a great time.
Can be anything.
Maybe this will bring out a big game up from Daniel Palka, even though it's not supposedly Daniel Palka.
Kind of looks like a cross between Carlos Rodon and Daniel Palka for me.
I say 100% Palka.
I can get that.
I'll agree with Chuck.
Of course you will. I think it looks like A.J. Pierzynski.
I'll still agree with Chuck.
That is very Palka-ish, though.
It is.
I think so.
Way to ferret out the news, Chuck.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Chuck.
That's terrific.
It. Yeah.
Have the guys buy
great
soda or something.
A root beer float should be in order, Chuck.
I don't think tonight's the night for root beer floats, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, you hear the laughter from them? It's definitely not the night for root beer floats from those guys. All right. Thank you, Chuck. Bachelor party at the ball yard.
Can't beat that. Nice night for it. A little windy.
Pretty assured they won't remember the temperature. 1, 2, 3 inning. Daniel Polka or John? Which do you think? Polka-esque.
Authentic fan of the game, someone who's with the team through thick and thin. So do you know what it takes? If
Yes.
you do, enter at NBCSportsChicago.com/White Sox AF.
I kind of have a feeling that she might have something to do with the future authentic fan. She sort of looks like an authentic fan. She has an authentic fan aura.
Is there one of those?
I think so. Maybe.
Very good
You
seats.
never know who's going to be the authentic fan. Cole Calhoun, who flied out to center his first time, leads off the third. Then Fletcher and Trout. By the way, coming up in a couple days at Spiaggia, Joe Flamm, executive chef, is going to put together quite the Hall of Fame dinner involving some White Sox folks. You can jump in online, as there's a base hit for Calhoun. So September 10th, coming up on Monday, Hall of Famers from the White Sox, 10 Hall of Famers. It benefits White Sox charities, and a great event at the restaurant at Spiaggia. You can go online. There is a tweet on the White Sox Twitter account. You can also go to @Spiaggia Chicago to reserve your table today and get to eat with some White Sox Hall of Famers. That should be a fun time.
That should be a really nice time and great food to go with it.
Yes, they do. David Fletcher shows bunt, takes a strike, I thought. However, I didn't see a strike call.
The only way that that was not a strike is if Kevin had gotten up and blocked Chris Guccione, because that had the whole plate.
That might be actually in the running for worst non-strike call of the year, as is voted on and written about at Fangraphs all the time. Our buddy Jeff Sullivan.
Well, that was there.
You got a bunt going on, you got a catcher moving, and here's the first pitch of the sequence. Watch where this crosses the plate and what PitchCast has. A lot of moving parts. Got a guy flashing in front. Stuff happens.
It does that.
Wish it wouldn't.
James wanted the first one badly, and now he's sitting at 2-0. Calhoun 6 out of 8 in stolen bases.
That was a strike. 2-1. There he goes. It's golfed down the right field side and foul. So Calhoun's going to have to return to first. 2-2 for Fletcher, who went to high school 10 miles away from Angel Stadium. Perfect fit.
It is that.
Matt Davidson, of course, who we talked about in Anaheim, went to prom not far from Angel Stadium, like adjacent to the ballpark, up from Yucaipa. Two and two for Fletcher. Calhoun at first. Another 9-iron. Still 2-2.
Well, very much in swing mode, but didn't want to leave it in the hands of Chris Guccione, so it was an emergency hack and able to keep the at bat alive.
He's got an interesting bat. He put together very strong at bats all year against the Sox. Fletcher. Two and two, pitch number 40 from James. Calhoun holds. It's up the middle into center field. Another hit for David Fletcher. He's 10 for 21 against the Sox. And Mike Trout, who homered against Shields in the first inning back on July 25th, did it again tonight. And here's what he did at the Big A. Two for two, home run, a double. He was hit by a pitch. The double flared to left. He does that just about everybody, but
yeah, he's just a top of the line player. Every aspect of the game, he plays it as good or better than anybody in this game.
For a strike to Trout.
Trout doesn't ground into too many double plays. In fact, too many would be an understatement. 5 of them. For a guy that hits the ball as hard as he hits it, that's really good.
He's just a machine. He's won the MVP a couple of times, the Rookie of the Year. He has 3 years now, including this season, of 110 walks or more. 5 times at least 30 homers. 1 time short of 30 homers by 1. And this is what he did in the first inning.
Let's take a look at StatCast AI, powered by AWS. 108.6 miles per hour exit velocity. Pretty much a line drive at 28-degree launch angle, and that is one strong young man. That time, that curveball was so slow that Mike Trout, who was fooled by it, had a chance to actually regroup and hit it hard, but foul.
He's got a 2-2 here from Shields. Ball bounces away. Calhoun to third, Fletcher to second.
We'll have to see if that one's a wild pitch. If it is, it will be the 11th by James Shields. Bob Rosenberg says wild pitch. A little bit more emphasis.
can't miss Bob Rosenberg's wild pitch in a crowd.
It's distinctive.
Iconic, some might say. Worthy of a bobblehead doll.
Ooh, yeah, I know.
3-2. Trout hammers it. No wind can knock this down.
It's 2 3-run homers, and there's nobody out here in the third. So 2 home runs and 6 driven in. 5 driven in, excuse me. What a performance. Court home run replay. This is a hanging breaking ball. James doesn't have to look at it. He can hear it. And it's going to go a long way. A blast.
He just plays the game so fluidly and so smartly. Nothing really stands out as you watch him play except for his exceptional attention to every detail in the game.
If you're gonna, like all hitters, doesn't matter what the hitter is, who the hitter is, what he does, which side of the plate he hits from. Good pitchers will get them out. But if you make a mistake on Mike Trout these days, he's going to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just not missing these. And that's the way it's been for him for many years now.
So what you're telling me is the intentional walks last night were a real good idea.
Yeah, in fact, if he comes up with runners on in an open base, might not be a bad idea next time.
You can actually make the argument based on his production that even if there is no base open, even if it's first and second, I know you don't want the big inning, but now with Ohtani behind him, that's a different story as well. But you can make the argument to intentionally walk him much more often than the average hitter.
Well, it's especially prevalent when he's facing James Shields because he's hitting over 400 against him. We're seeing the reason why. He's just on everything, and you have hitters that happens to. Why it is, nobody really knows. Some hitters just see pitchers. It'll be the same pitcher. The guy hitting behind you, who might be a better hitter than you are, will see a pitcher very well. You won't see him at all, and there's no rhyme or reason to why one guy will get the release point and another guy will not.
Try to clip the outside corner and miss. 3-2. 52 pitches for Shields after throwing short of 90 against the Angels last time he saw him. That's ball 4 to Ohtani, and the first Walker strikeout for the Angels in this game. A lot of balls hit. Hey, take your family to one more White Sox game this season. Family 4-packs. You'll get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas for as low as $49. Upper and lower level packages are available. Get yours at whitesox.com/4packs today.
It's a good deal.
Have some fun at the park one more time. Sox will take on the Cubs and the Indians in that final homestand later this month.
And the pen up and going. It is the ever-present Hector Santiago, who in situations like this and the phone rings, he just grabs a baseball.
Yeah, he's become a sponge.
It's really not going to be anybody else at this point.
Earlier this year, there were a couple of long men in that bullpen, but he is, along with Dylan Covey now, Hector really is the guy to give you more than 2 innings. Inside throw down to second is in time. Ohtani's out. Kevin Smith takes him down.
That was a whale of a throw, and it was waiting for Ohtani to get there. He got a very good jump, yet this throw is there. And we'll take another look. Looked like he did tag the inside of the right knee before the foot got to the bag. It's a great throw by Kevin Smith. And the first out of a tough inning.
high into the sky. See if the wind grabs it. It does. Sanchez, middle of the diamond to make the play.
Well, we told you the wind was a huge factor tonight. When Yolmer started to set up, he was standing right next to Tim Anderson, who was at shortstop, and Yolmer was at third. That's how this one started. So watch. It starts like that. I got it. No problem, Yolmer. You take it. Well, Tim's now coming. Now Tim thinks he's got a shot, but Yolmer puts it away on the first base side of the pitcher's mound.
This is like a science experiment.
Yeah, that's a long way to come for a little pop-up in the infield, but that shows you the conditions tonight.
Right center field. Angle on the run. Adams not going to get there. Avi backs him up. And Simmons, a 2-out base hit. Now, if Adam made that play with the wind going left to right, we would have put a cape on him and had him change in a phone booth.
Now, you know, the advantage of sitting where we sit, which is almost directly behind home plate, not quite the upper level, but in between, you can really see angles. And as that ball was coming down, if he'd have caught that, it'd been a miracle, because it looked to me like he was coming up fairly short.
Just the fact that he got in close to that thing.
Well, he's had a great run defensively.
So 1 on, 2 out Fernandez. And a throw to first. One ball, no strikes. How hard does the wind have to blow to affect the pitcher?
Well, it's going to affect him. It's not going to affect the flight of the baseball.
Right.
But it's going to affect him, and it won't affect the flight of the baseball because of the stands, because the wind can't really affect that baseball from home to the plate.
But I mean just even out there and feeling it as you're doing what you do. It's a very sensory position.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty good idea about which fields to stay away from depending on, you know, the velocity of the wind and where it's blowing. In this case, you give up anything to right center field, it's leaving this ballpark.
In the air, right center field. Angle is back there. It carried. Adam reels it in and ends a harrowing inning. Angles in the outfield against Anaheim.
Join Bears Matt Forte, Lance Briggs, and Alex Brown with host Lawrence Holmes after the Bears take on the Packers. The Football After Show presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, only on NBC Sports Chicago.
What a beautiful sunset. Little line of clouds.
Very odd, but really nice looking.
Fluffy and puffy. Like cotton balls with Pepto-Bismol on them. Engel takes a strike. Adam Engel, nice catch again, battling the wind to end the top of the third. Shoemaker gets a ground ball to Andrelton Simmons. Flat-footed for out number 1. Join the White Sox Volunteer Corps in Huntington Bank as they team up September 11th for some hands-on improvement work at the Primo Center Shelter for Women and Children in Englewood. For more information and to sign up to volunteer, visit whitesox.com/volunteercorps. And we remind you as well, for White Sox charities, every home game you have an opportunity to win some cash. whitesox.com/Sox Split. You have to have the Illinois billing address to win the Sox Split raffle online. You can win cash from home and get one of those pretty bows for your hair. Moncada takes a strike. This game, through 1 out in the bottom of the third, features no strikeouts. We're back to the old days. A dart, right field on a line, to the corner it goes, and foul.
That one hugged the line for a long time. Ben May gave it a long, hard look before finally motioning it went on the wrong side of the pole. Joe McEwing wants to take another look at it and see if the ball disappears. The ball did not disappear, meaning it was foul.
Stayed foul, says Joe. Moncada disappointed. Yohan doubled and scored in the first inning. Sox with 3 hits in the first. 1 run. Shoemaker 1-2. Check swing. Moncada did go. Strike 3. There's the first strikeout of the night. 2 gone in the third. Moncada says
That was the appeal to Hunter Wendelstedt, and we'll take a look at it from the side. This is what Hunter's looking at. He said he did. Could have gone either way. It went Shoemaker's way.
Imagine if check swings were reviewable. Time of the game, 4 hours 45 minutes.
I don't think we're going to see that.
The idea behind replay is to allow for objective calls to be reviewed. Anything subjective within an umpire's discretion, you're never going to see under review. Two down, base is empty for Sanchez. And time called. Thought Chris Guccione was going to run up the first base line again. Had a timeout earlier when he was on the lam. 1 ball, no strikes. Two and 0 off a splitter that missed low. Sanchez, the RBI double to right to score Moncada, the only RBI of this game for the Sox. And he Decides to white flag that one, 2-1. Off the corner inside, 3-1 to Sanchez. Again, Houston and Oakland both have won. So the lead's still 3.5 in the Angels division. That was a confused fan. Was that a Bears jersey and an Angels hat? Where's the overlap there?
Personal preference.
To left field. Upton on the run in the corner. It's a fair ball and 2 bases. Sanchez with his second double.
That one slicing away from Upton. He tried to make a valiant attempt, but the ball just kept on eluding him.
He was playing that way too.
Yeah. Slicing just down the line. He can't come up with it as Yolmer takes it opposite field and keeps it between the lines.
Two doubles for Sanchez. Last month or so, his on-base percentage been around 400. As here is Avi. 2 out, runner at second. Strike 1. Angels scored 3 in the first. Mike Trout a 2-run homer, then his 3-run homer in the third. Added on for the Angels. Shoemaker kind of rocks himself into the ready position.
Been throwing a pretty good sinker tonight. That's been one of his mainstays in the early going.
Avi breaks his bat. Could be trouble. Right field side and down. Yolmer scores 6-2.
'40th run driven in for Avi. Doesn't get a whole lot of it, just gets enough of it to dump it into right field toward the line, but it was fair by a lot. Fastball inside. And a safe place to land. Yolmer recognizing this right away, scores easily.
Sanchez involved in both run scoring plays. Daniel Palka goes after the first pitch again. He did that to success in the first inning. Single to the left. He's 1 for 1. A lot of folks here tonight still left over from the Sox crawl well before the game, getting a chance to taste all the beers around the ballpark.
It's a nice crowd tonight.
Yeah. We did not participate in the Sox crawl.
No. Didn't think it would be prudent.
Our invitation was lost in the mail. 1-1 for Palka. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. It's been a rather taxing first couple innings for Shoemaker. He had a 1-2-3 second, but craggy first and third. 5 hits allowed.
Well, scouting report was that he will work fairly quickly until there are runners on base, and then he will really slow it down.
Your scout was good.
He has done just that.
2-1 to Polka. That was a very nice splitter. 2-2. Downtown Chicago in its pink and purple goodness.
Beautiful city.
Here comes the 2-2. And it's in the dirt, trying to get him to fish for the splitter. 3-2.
Now Fernandez is going to get in back of Avi at first base, get a little better angle for anything hit down there. Because it's not hit right at you and it's Polka hitting it, it's probably going to get by you.
Three and 2. He took strike 3 at 93. Fastball locked him up. Shoemaker ends the inning. Sox do get 1. Joining us, and here's what you can win playing Sox Math tonight.
Including a Tim Anderson bobblehead, in action bobblehead.
Head first.
Very nice. Good slide. Just what Tim's been doing all year long. And there's the rest of the shelf. Now the gnome has seen better days, granted. He's there with an eye out for you. And that's what it looks like.
We come from a broken gnome.
That's it.
Here in the booth.
Poor guy.
Well, he lost his head the other day.
He did.
Got to keep your temper. It was not on a foul ball.
Not yet, no.
In case you're wondering. Two and 0. Checks the swing, takes a strike. 2-1. Evidently, we're going back to the second inning. Ward with a foul ball back to the booth, and I didn't have any interest in catching it. Steve made fun of me for a long time. Glad we re-racked that, guys. Yeah, if I could only do that to the truck. Ward is on base. Let's go back to July 25th. I really like this flashback.
You do.
We're in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu with a bullet. Good effort, Steve.
That came back a million miles an hour. Are you kidding?
See the catch I made?
Oh, yeah, I think I did.
It was a Todd Frazier catch. I have 3 baseballs down on the ground for that occasion.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I guess it's safe to say I have the catch of the year so far.
Oh, it's not even close. Of course you do. This can't be 2 because there's nobody covering. Tim had to go over to make the play, and there's out number 1. Yes, you have the catch of the year, although A.J. Pierzynski, I think, has got to be on the list, right?
That might be the catch of the decade out of the booth.
Could be. That was a whale of a play by A.J. the other day. On Hawk Day, no less. But I have to say, in terms of like level of difficulty, like the Olympics gymnastics scale, where the more difficult the routine, almost like a bowling handicap, I think Chuck's catch is better.
Really?
Because he wasn't a catcher. Line drive, first base, double play! Tim wanted the double play last time around. Now he covers to make the catch on this twin killing. Sorry, Chuck, this play was better. Davidson, Anderson stopped the bag. See you later. Wins a prize off the prize shelf. Number of players with 20+ home runs for the Sox multiplied by Engel's jersey number. That's your question for tonight. Can you beat Super Sox Fan 79? That's the question. We'll find out. Sox Math tonight. Nifty double play for the Sox. Davidson to Anderson.
Well played, and Matt didn't try to overthrow it. He knew he had some time to get it there. Tim had to reach back, stepped on the bag at the same time, and it was a line drive. Double play out of the inning.
Doesn't it feel like Shoemaker's thrown more than 47 times in this game? Just seemed low to me, based on the feeling of the game.
Well, the big thing is he hasn't walked anybody. That would certainly add to this total.
1-1 on Castillo. Shoemaker pretty attached to the slider this at bat. Got a perfect game alert for the Kansas City Royals right now. Jorge Lopez, 5 perfect against the Twins, and he's got 1 strikeout.
That's pretty impressive.
Good news is the Sox won't face him in Kansas City Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Jose Barrios, 5 2/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, no runs allowed. It's a tie game, scoreless in the 6th in Minneapolis. 2-2. Called strike 3, third strikeout for Shoemaker in the last 2 innings. The White Sox Newborn Club is the perfect gift for the newest member of your family. The package includes a Southpaw onesie and hat, a White Sox bib, and a customized White Sox birth certificate. Get yours today at whitesox.com/newborn. Perfect way, especially if you're in a split household. For some reason, you married a Cub fan, right? You have your kid into the White Sox Newborn Club right off the bat, and there's no question about where the fandom's going to lie.
I would think you'd be raising a Sox fan. That's just me.
If you induct him or her into the Newborn Club right away.
Absolutely.
That's a way to make sure that your allegiance, the one that you want your kid to have, sticks. A little chilly for the little one tonight, all bundled up. One and two. This wind is just howling.
Doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot better either.
I was going to go with worse.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rarity. Not that it's a windy night, because we see lots of those. It's just that the wind is not decreasing as it's getting later.
Ball and 2 strikes for Davidson. Matt anxiously awaiting USC's game against Stanford tonight. He was not terribly optimistic, although he catches some flack from some of the players in the Sox clubhouse who claim that he can't name all of the teams in the Pac-12.
Well, that's a strong possibility.
He was recruited by USC, though. That was where he was likely going to go if he decided to go to college. Fletcher at second against the wind. Still running. For out number 2.
One of my favorite tunes.
Oh, there's a song?
Oh, yes. I thought you were going to break into a musical interlude.
Well, if I end up on a long and lonesome highway east of Omaha, I'll take you up on it.
That'll be it. Thanks.
2 down for Anderson. Base is clear. 4th inning. Angels up 6-1 on Mike Trout's 6-2 on Mike Trout's 5 RBIs in the game. Breaking ball for strike 1.
Shoemaker's starting to get a feel for that curveball, because he usually doesn't throw near this many. But he's feeling good with it and throwing it for strikes.
Flip fallow and 2. And he's still in the experimental phase of this season. He missed most of the year with a forearm issue. Oh, and 2, Shoemaker to Anderson. Wide of third, Nick Capra. Good form. Who will he choose? A youngster in the front row. Give me the food. Up the middle, base hit. An 0-2 pitch that flew.
Shoemaker tried to go inside, throw a fastball by him, but could not get it by Tim as he took it right back up the middle.
Anderson chatting it up with Fernandez over at first.
Now it is a 4-run game. This is a very good combination to run against.
Would you?
Yes.
Even with the need for 4 runs.
Yeah, because Kevin is not really a prolific home run hitter, but he does get his share of base hits.
I don't disagree. I'm just cross-examining you.
I mean, that's how I would feel in this situation. However, Anderson with 25 stolen bases to lead the team by a comfortable margin in that department.
One of 5 players with at least 18 homers and at least 25 steals this year in Major League Baseball. Tim Anderson. Breaking ball for a strike, and we've seen that tonight from Shoemaker quite a bit. First pitch breaking ball.
And for the most part, he's getting him over the plate.
Such an advantage. Oh, 1. There goes Tim, throwing to second, not in time.
Fletcher thought he'd put down a quick tag and might have gotten him, but the hopping throw made it very difficult to gun him down. So 26 stolen bases now for Tim Anderson. Gets a pretty good jump, but he's in well before the tag and stays on the bag.
So Tim Anderson before this year had 25 stolen bases for his career in more than 240 games. This year he's more than doubled that.
He's just feeling more and more comfortable with every aspect of his game.
Kevin in the air, left field side. Upton back at the warning track. Trout's there. It's off the wall. Kevin Smith with an RBI double at 6-3.
Sixteenth run batted in. And only a 3-run lead. Towering fly ball. Without the wind, this probably does leave the ballpark. But the wind helped bat it down, kept it in the park. And a talk with Shoemaker. Anderson after the stolen base scores. So Charles Nagy goes out there to have a quick word.
Mike Trout had to surf through the bag and napkin forest to make the catch. The wind-blown warning track with stuff all over the place in his ballpark.
Wait a couple more innings.
Oh, I know. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, a few times.
So Smith on angle batting. First pitch breaking ball, strike 1. Sox with a run in the first and third and now the fourth. Chipping away against the Angels. Touch foul, 0-2. Two strikes on Engel, who's been hitting the ball well for the Sox with a hit last night again, using the speed to get on. Adam, .319 his last 19 games coming in. Oh, 0-2. He struck him out. Splitter for strike 3. Bookend strikeouts for Shoemaker. One Thing with Ricky coming up after this.
Okay, Sox fans, it's time for One Thing with Jason Benetti. Jason Benetti, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Talking to a lot of you guys, everybody thinks you guys show up just prior to the ball game. How much time do you guys get here before, and what do you do before the ball game?
I get here about 5 minutes before the game. This is taped right then. No, it's like 4 or 5 hours before the game. Hang out with you, talk to the players, do some research, and listen to some great music in the manager's office.
Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Ricky. Well, we've just gotten the ratings in. That's been canceled.
No, that's actually sensational. I think that should be the new format. I mean, I like the old format, don't get me wrong. And the name is very catchy.
Yeah?
But a new format, I think, would be something to think about this offseason especially.
Yeah, I'm going to scrap that. Thank you, though. Maybe one question with One Thing with Stoney.
No.
One Thing with Nick Capra.
Maybe.
One Thing with Greg Sparks.
Absolutely, if you want it very quiet.
Get some bad jokes.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, thanks, guys. Just one thing.
Hey, Big Shot. I mean, Jason.
Well,
you see?
Okay.
See, Chuck, that's what's happening.
Hi, Chuck, pal of mine. What
yeah,
you got?
What were you doing earlier today? Because you weren't here that early. You were busy.
Yeah, I was up the road in lovely Evanston, where it was a little less windy, but still windy for Northwestern Duke. Thank you for asking.
Did you bring them luck, Northwestern, today?
I did not. I was told by a couple people here in the press box that I'm no longer allowed to do Northwestern games because they had the longest win streak in the FBS at 9 games before I showed up.
Yeah, nice job today, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, they lost by 14, though.
So they scored on the opening drive.
Yeah, and then, quiet the rest of the way.
Did you take a helicopter to get here on time?
I took an Uber, and I got here at like 3:30. Is that okay? Throw to first, and there's the first strikeout for James Shields. Pat Fitzgerald, though, huge baseball fan, big Sox fan. Neat to chat about the Sox with him. He wanted to know about Moncada and Kopech and all the folks going on here with the Sox. And David Cutcliffe, the Duke coach, actually, is a huge Yankee fan. Loved the Yankees growing up, and still plays wiffle ball with his coaching staff at Duke. They shut down the practice facility, put some makeshift bases up. And what's really neat about the whole football thing, and thanks for putting up with my shenanigans, Uncle Steve, but what's really cool is you run into people everywhere that are huge baseball fans. Football players, football coaches love this game.
Well, I can certainly understand that. It is a beautiful game and completely different than just about any other. still contains, for me, it contains the most difficult thing to do in sports, and that's hit a baseball.
Yeah.
I think that is by far the most difficult thing to do, because you don't know if it's coming at you or going over the outside corner, or what speed it's coming at, or what pitch it will be.
It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, it is, as guys are throwing harder. And used to get a break occasionally from the bullpens. Now you don't get a break. Now guys come out of that pen routinely throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. So we're used to talk about getting that starter out of there quickly and getting to the bullpen. It's not always that great to get into the bullpen.
Not anymore.
No, it can be pretty tough.
There are so many games on TV, and that's a good thing for baseball, for the MLB TV app and all of that. But you do take for granted how easy these guys make it look to hit a baseball sometimes. Trout is going to stay in the park, but it is his third hit of the ball game. Look, you can get under center and throw a football. You wouldn't want, you know, as a lay person to have pass rushers charging you, but you put a lay person at home plate with a bat, it's not going to go great.
No, it is not, and that is going to be it for James Shields. And for tonight, it did not go as he would have liked, and so it's about time, and Aaron Bummer comes in the game
To throw to first.
take that opportunity to make sure that Trout is held securely at first.
Got to secure Trout.
22-2.
Yeah.
On for the 30th time is Aaron Bummer. Nice play by Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
So we talked about it yesterday. Trout, Ohtani, and Upton, whatever order they'll be jumbled in. Trout 3 for 3, Ohtani 1 for 1, Upton 1 for 2, each involved in runs big time. Trout especially tonight with 2 homers and 5 ribbies. Ohtani breaks his bat. Anderson sweeps it across for out number 2. Trout to second base.
This is another fine play, even better because Ohtani can really run, and he's going up the line in a hurry. Tim with an off-balance throw. Bat shatters. Tim goes to his right. The backhand pick and throw in the same motion, and he guns him down at first base. This is a fine play.
You know, sometimes improvement for a player is imperceptible as the year goes on, and it's almost like looking at a president when he first starts and then to the end of his tenure and how gray he gets, and day by day you don't see it. Tim Anderson's jump has been exceptionally large.
Manaea, who's been pitching pretty well lately, on for the 43rd time. ERA below 4, 393, a 1-2 record, 7 holds to his ledger. Left-handers have done nothing with him, hitting a paltry 151.
He'll face Upton. Aaron Bummer, who threw an inning and a third yesterday. You figure Ricky Renteria said, okay, let me find a good spot to get him in for one batter. Well,
I think Ricky narrowed it down
to Ohtani.
I think he felt that if Ohtani came up in a situation where we didn't want to see a run scored, he's got Bummer for one hitter. And then he hadn't planned who's coming in after him, but this is how it plays out with Manaea coming in after the one hitter, so you don't burn out Bummer. He gets the job done, gets the hitter you want, and now it's on to Manaea.
Especially with as stocked of a bullpen the Sox have, no need to conserve somebody. You can play for one batter early as Manaea spins it outside to Upton. Three in the first, 3 in the third for the Angels tonight. A little bit low, 3-0 for Upton. You have Simmons next. By the way, Jorge Lopez for Kansas City is perfect through 6 tonight. And they've gotten him 2 runs now into the top of the 7th. 2-0 Royals over the Twins.
Now, see, that one I would have had for you, but unfortunately it was a booth over. I was in front of Gooby, Mark Gubiza.
See, I saw that one off the bat. I was ready to go.
You were ready to grab that?
I was.
Okay.
You don't think so?
No, I thought you had a.
If it hit me directly in the hand, I probably would have gotten a hand on it.
At least 5 or 6% chance.
Look, I told you I got smoked by a ball in AAA.
Oh,
I
know.
I have an issue.
It's a bad thing.
Like right in the chest.
We ought to just get you a glove.
That's why you're in the minors, though. To learn, to improve.
And to make sure you have a glove.
That's
when something comes close to you.
Great point. 3-2 on Upton. Trout at second base, 2 out. Pitch number 6 to Upton. He struck him out. 2 punch outs in the inning. But the beauty in the field is from number 7 again, roving around second to throw out Ohtani. Now 6-3 halfway home, the Angels and the Sox. And Moncada, Sanchez, and Garcia coming up. Napkins at a premium here tonight.
That wind is not settling down much.
Nope.
Even more of a factor now if you look at those flags that are pretty much in left center field. From our viewpoint, just to the left of the scoreboard, they are starched atop the poles.
Taut left to right. Yoan into the breeze in right field. Calhoun squares it up as much as he can. 1 gone, and we have our first winner of the year with an underscore at the end of his name. Sean Barrett underscore. 3 20-plus home run guys for the Sox times 15 for Angle. 45 is your answer. Sean Barrett underscore. Your winner. Yolmer Sanchez will bat. He's 2 for 2. Strike 1.
Yolmer 2 for 2, and he's used both lines. First inning, drove it down the right field line. Third inning, sliced it down the left field line.
What's next? Straightaway center?
Right back up the middle. Nice casual base hit.
You want to hit it to Trout?
No, hit it in front of him.
Bunch shown. Ball 2.
I was talking to Yolmer before the game, and he says he feels really good, really fresh, and here we are, middle of September, and he says the key for him is when he goes home at night, he ices his legs to keep the inflammation down, and he's feeling really good this year, and he's showing it at the plate here tonight for sure.
This was going to be a test of his season for Yolmer Sanchez. How do you hold up over the course of a full season of starting?
Right, and as a major leaguer, he's never had to do that. So this for him is a unique experience. He certainly loves it. He's made the most of it. It's been a really nice year for him.
Ball 4 high. 1 out walk. Let's go around Major League Baseball, where young David Hess of the Baltimore Orioles is celebrating football season. Pre-game, Mom always said don't play ball in the house. Whack.
You could see why he's a baseball player and not a wide receiver.
So somebody, he's okay, don't worry. Somebody put an LSU helmet in the clubhouse. He was told to wear it, he said, and so he wore it. Go Bayou Bengals. That may be the best part of baseball, is that when something out of the ordinary happens, one of those other 25 guys or 40 guys or whatever it is capitalizes with something hilarious.
And also, the way baseball is these days, you're going to get it on tape.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good.
He didn't have a chance at that ball, by the way. He wasn't even close. It wasn't like get your hands square. He just got whacked.
Yeah, that was not good.
We'll see David Hess and the Orioles coming up next weekend at Camden Yards, one of the lovely venues in baseball. David Hess went to Tennessee Tech, not a vaunted football powerhouse in Cookeville, Tennessee. Simmons at shortstop, never gets handcuffed. Fletcher the turn. And a double play. Double plays galore in this game. Do a promotion or something. Out by a White Sox pitcher at Guaranteed Rate Field this season. People's Gas makes a donation in support of White Sox charities. Since 1859, People's Gas has kept life moving in Chicago through their tradition of giving back to the community. As you down there, listen up. Visit People's Gas on Facebook and follow on Twitter at People's Gas CHI for more information today.
That looks like a Joe Grube outfit.
It does.
Seems to be a little chilly up here. Joe is taking advantage of that.
Our stage manager, Joe Grube, the wonderful Joe Grube, dressed like the Gordon's fisherman. This evening, he's hawking fish sticks to the locals.
I got to tell you, that was one of the great things. I grew up with that.
Fish sticks?
Mm-hmm.
Anderson at shortstop. Again, got it there, but no catch.
This most likely will be a base hit. At least you would assume so. We'll take another look. This ball is in the hole. Simmons with pretty good speed. Tim tries to get as much on it as he could. If that was an intentional bounce, you're trying to bounce it off the grass. If it was an intentional bounce. It was not, well, you don't know, but it was ruled a base hit. So
where do you want the bounce in relation to the first baseman if you're doing that?
It's far enough away from him to get a skip off the grass, so it actually the ball will accelerate some, but you're also giving him a chance when he goes out for his stretch. If you throw it on the grass, you're giving him a chance to adjust to the hop, and that's what you're looking for in a situation like that. Tim was trying to get as much as he could on the throw, so he wasn't worried about where the ball was going to hit.
And Jose Abreu, who's been out the last couple of weeks, might be back as soon as tomorrow, if not tomorrow. Monday looks good. He was taking batting practice before the game, live batting practice with Nate Jones, who's also hoping to return this year.
This one blooped your way, Chuck, over Sanchez's head, and it's a single for Fernandez. 2 on, nobody out for the Angels. Chuck.
And here was Abreu today, working, I think that's at shortstop. He likes to go at shortstop before games, unless you're thinking he might be trying to take Tim Anderson's job. Or is he at third base there? I can't really tell.
No, but we've seen that before, as you're saying. He just likes to get around and throw the ball.
So they're going to see how he feels tomorrow after working out today on the field. And if he's feeling good, they might insert him into the starting lineup tomorrow. But if they're being a little overly cautious, they might wait till Monday. We'll see what happens with Abreu. But you know he's jonesing to get back in. He's oftentimes holding a bat in the dugout, watching the guys play. He wants to get back out there.
If there's one person who doesn't want to be out of the lineup in that clubhouse, like takes offense to being out of the lineup, it's Jose Abreu.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he's always taken pride in since he's put on that White Sox uniform, and that is going out there each and every day, to the point where Ricky Renteria went to him, talked a little about the defense, saying, look, I understand you want to be out there every day, and to do that, you have to make yourself the best defender you can. And to Jose's credit, he worked very hard to make himself a pretty decent first baseman. He's a lot better now than when he started. There's no doubt about that. Well, and that's just hard work.
His mom calls him when he's out of the lineup and says, why aren't you earning your money?
Well, that's the case with him. He feels like sitting out of a ball game is something you should never do. So this was particularly tough on him as he was trying to get to 100 runs driven in again. He's sitting right there at 78. It's going to be really difficult to turn it on to that point.
But what a fun chase it would be if he had a couple big RBI games and could get back on the horse.
Well, the way he was swinging it before he went down, he was making a case for actually getting there, because especially the runs batted in were piling up very quickly.
You missed to him.
It seems like he got from 60 to 78 in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it can be done. Who knows?
See, that was strike 3, and he didn't get the call, and that had the full zone.
Yes, it did. We'll take a look at it.
You shouldn't be penalized for late drop.
No, it came in a strike and had the whole plate, but we've seen that happen a few times.
Upstairs, now he has to go after a 2-2 on Ward. Minaya in after Bummer, who faced one guy, that was Ohtani, to get a ground out in the 5th. A good sign for Bummer, who at times when called upon to face one batter has lost his control. Check swing, and he went around. Strike 3.
That was a big strikeout. That's exactly what Juan wanted. No contact. Now you got a guy that's played peppered with Tim Anderson at shortstop. As you look at his splitter, and it was a dandy.
Minaya looked like he was going to appeal himself. I don't want anybody else pointing. He went. Give me the call. Fouled away by Garcia, the catcher, who's grounded out twice now to shortstop, and that would be ideal right here. Fernandez at first, Simmons at second. Good changeup, 0-2. Need a napkin?
There's a few available right now.
On the grounded foul, Xfinity X1 customers say, "Show me the Chicago White Sox" into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. I don't know why I just thought, what if this was just a clever ruse and we just wanted people to speak into their remotes and nothing actually happened?
Well, that would be unfair.
It'd be hilarious for a while, though, wouldn't it? I'm telling you all year, and it never works. Got all those people yelling into their remote controls. It does work.
It does. Good.
Or is this just part of the ruse?
I don't think so. It can't be that clever a ruse.
Hey. Oh, and 2, Manaya to Garcia. That's upstairs and outside. People all around Chicagoland talking into their remote controls. Nothing's happening.
That can happen.
On a blustery night at Guaranteed Rate Field, the Sox trying to keep contact with the Angels. A 3-run game in the 6th, and Manaya is high. There's Cole Calhoun, who's 1 for 3 tonight. He stuck a ball in the 4th inning, but right at Davidson to create a double play.
That perfect game, by the way, is now through 7.
Jorge Lopez, as this ball gets away into center field, and only the lead runner Simmons advances. He's at third. Fernandez thought about it, and Engel was bearing down on him. So it's E1.
We'll take another look. This one gets away into the runner. Tim could not keep it in front. And Simmons trots to third.
Two and 2 on Garcia, who's played in Double-A this year, along with 42 games in Triple-A.
That was a great stop by Kevin Smith. I don't know how he corralled that one, but he was able to make sure there was no advancement on either runner.
Got a couple of really strong picks tonight.
That one bounced probably a good 3 feet in front of the plate, and somehow Kevin was able to make that grab.
Three balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, runners at the corners, and a throw comes into third for Simmons, who's back in. Juan Manaya was watching the James Shields footage. James Fegan actually did a story in The Athletic a couple of days ago about James Shields and how much impact he's had on his teammates. So it's actually not terribly far-fetched that Manaya would have gotten that from Shields.
No, and James's timing with Yomer at third base is impeccable. They've gotten a few guys this year just on great timing.
Struck him out. 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the high-speed action powered by Xfinity. A nice double play. Very well done. Davidson to Anderson, and out of the inning for James Shields. That was out of the 4th inning. And a well-played double play.
Been some gridlock on the bases in this game, and the Sox have pitched around it at times. Big home runs from Trout tonight. Most of the scoring for the Angels as Calhoun takes a strike. Tailing fastball. Kevin in front again. 1 ball, 1 strike to Calhoun, who for the 5th straight year has at least 15 home runs. There are 3 Angels right fielders to do that in history. Calhoun, Tim Salmon, and Vladimir Guerrero.
I was going to say, I'm not surprised that Vlad would be one of those guys. Calhoun won a Gold Glove in 2015, so he is a quality right fielder.
Surprising how rough of a start he had this year. Tim Salmon, by the way, doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, for what he did with the Angels. 1993 to 2000, he had 2 OPSs under 900, and he was never under 860. He was an outstanding hitter, as the Sox are going to wave off Calhoun and tell him to hit first base, please. So they're loaded for Fletcher.
Get a deal with a pretty good hitter. Fletcher has a couple of hits tonight. Strikeout victim leading off the 5th inning. But here comes Don Cooper. If they have a way they want to go at Fletcher, he's going to impart it to Manaea.
Hey, while we have a moment, head to the last Family Sunday of the season. That's tomorrow, September 9th. Tickets as low as $5 in the upper level, $15 in the lower level, and parking for only $10. Family Sundays proudly presented by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. Visit whitesox.com/Sundays to get your tickets today. One last Sunday this year on a Coca-Cola Family Sunday, you have the opportunity to run the bases, and it's one of those days that you're going to be saying, I wish we would have gone. When it's snowing out, you're going to want that day outside, even if it's a little chillier than maybe you'd like. So we'll see you tomorrow.
It'll be a nice enough day tomorrow. Going to be in the high 60s, maybe low 70s. Maybe.
You're optimistic.
Yeah.
As long as it's not windy, it'll be really nice.
Oh, it's going to be very windy.
Thank you for that.
Sorry about that.
This is ball 1 to Fletcher. Bases loaded, 2 out. 6th inning. A lot of pitches in tonight's ball game. And time called. Fletcher in the air toward the gap in right center. Avi gets over there. He had a pasture to cover, and he hauls it in to keep this game within striking distance. On the sprint, Avi.
begins at 7, and you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app. We got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it is Cam Bedrosian. On for the 65th time. He's been a very busy man. 5-4 is ERA, a touch above 3.5. There you look at the rest of the numbers, and they're pretty good, although left-handers have hurt him.
My birthday wish is to meet Daniel Palka. Maybe put your email address on the back of the sign and Daniel can write you a note. Sox fans love Daniel Palka, and rightfully so.
I was going to say, justifiably so. He's burst on the scene here in his rookie year, and 21 home runs, 55 driven in. Pretty impressive.
That is a filthy breaking ball.
Good, nice stuff.
He should. His dad was outstanding.
Cy Young Award winner Steve Bedrosian.
Played for 15 years, won the Cy Young in '87.
When Cam came out to be drafted, that was in 2010. He was drafted in the first round by these Angels. 29th pick overall.
Out of high school in Georgia. Big chopper, and this is a fair ball. Now the question is, what will the response be from the Sox bench as Palka didn't run it out? We've seen that turn into a benching in the past.
We'll have to see. He did not locate the baseball, did not know where it was until it was on its way down. See here, he can't pick it up. He has no idea where it is. Finally does recognize it and gets thrown out.
Now that's one of those scenarios where once he did recognize where the ball was, he ran. Question for the Sox skipper is that a reason not to run in the first place? And we'll see as the ball fades out of play from Castillo. Bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Wellington Castillo. Logan Forsythe, a ground out, so 7 1/3 for Jorge Lopez. Perfect.
How about that?
At Minnesota for Kansas City. Been a rough year for the Royals, but this would be a nice balm on the wound. Sox will be in Kansas City Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Jacob Junis, Lucas Giolito, your pitching matchup day 1 at Kauffman Stadium. Two 2-1. Calhoun for out number 2. Time to quiz Steve on his own career. Sticks and Stone. Question today involves 3 Major League managers. Your first game against the Angels, May 12, 1973. Which Major League manager had 3 hits that day?
I'll say Bobby Valentine.
Pretty confident about that.
Well, I can't remember a Jeff Torberg at bat.
Bobby and repression?
Bobby and I'm pretty sure and I are about the same age because we were supposed to play in Cape Cod together.
And you got sick or he got sick?
I wound up getting mono and hepatitis and anemia. And he wound up getting $65,000 from the Dodgers. So
you got sick.
He did much better than I did that particular year.
What a trifecta. Congratulations.
Thank you. We were supposed to have Thurman Munson, Bobby Valentine, a pitcher who got $100,000 from Boston by the name of John Curtis. And I was supposed to be on that team, supposed to be 5 different guys. One guy got drafted by the Cubs, made it to AAA, didn't get beyond that. But the 4 guys who got drafted all left. So this great team we were going to have, there was none of it. I was in Chatham by myself, and then in 2 weeks got very sick and had to go home. Spent the whole year in the hospital and in bed.
Really?
And did not sign at that point.
Or they didn't want to sign you because they thought you were contagious.
Well, I'd lost 40 pounds. There wasn't much to sign at that point.
What was left?
Not much. Yeah, that was something. But
we're glad you're okay.
Yeah, well, that was a couple of years ago. So yeah, I had some time to recover.
3 balls and a strike on Davidson. After this pitch, we'll either see the answer or Steve's medical chart.
No, can't see that.
It's going to be the answer. And it's Jeff Torborg.
Geez, and I used to work out with him. If I'd have remembered that, I'd never worked out with Jeff.
You know what I love is you don't hold grudges.
No, he's a very nice man, though, except for those 3 hits. 3 hits?
Yeah.
What, do you have 5 in his career?
You blocked them all out. That's there for strike 3. We've checked with the stats, folks. Jeff Torborg, 297 career hits. Very close. By T-Mobile, and it's Mike Trout tonight with a couple of jacks. This one just right of center field early on, a 2-run shot. Then under the cover of darkness in the 3rd, a 3-run homer, both on payoff pitches. That's our T-Mobile built for baseball.
And there he is, live.
Live Trout.
Tremendous coincidences.
TV is just a series of coincidences.
That's it, random.
Yeah. Our coincidence activator, Keon Dolachahi, producing the show tonight.
By the way, Lopez with a perfect game through 8. At 100 pitches, he'll take the perfect game to the bottom of the 9th.
2 strikeouts in the inning. Jake Cave, Mitch Garver. How about that? Rex Hudler's got to be on the roof right now. He's crazy when they're down 9-0.
Pretty close to it.
Color analyst for the Royals, a wonderful man who at one point a couple of years ago had a pancake constructed after his face here at Guaranteed Rate Field. Pancake Rex was a little lower energy. Trout fouls it away, 2-2. Chuck, what do you got on Mike Trout?
Well, not too many pitchers know how to get Mike Trout out, or certainly are not successful, but Carlos Rodon In his career against Carlos Rodon, Mike Trout is 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts. And before the game, Trout said about Rodon, he's tough, he keeps you off balance, and the biggest thing people don't see is that he'll throw a fastball at 89 miles per hour and then get you with 2 strikes. He'll pump it up to 97, keeps you off balance, and he's had no answers so far for Rodon. He faced him last night. He's doing much better tonight.
Trout is 4 for 4. Get out your credit card. Time for some post-Labor Day shopping.
I'll take Mike Trout.
We're going to the swap meet.
Oh.
Director of Swaptography is Chris Gamka today. I think you picked first last time.
You sure?
Is that right? Yeah,
I don't think so.
Pretend. So, slugging percentage higher on the right, on base higher on the left. I'm going to take the guy on the left.
Well, sure, because you got 3 more home runs. You got 13 more runs batted in. You have an OBP that's higher. You got slugging percentage that's lower. So no wonder you want the guy on the left.
Been listening to some new music there. All right, we will. We'll get you what we bought coming up after this. 6-3, the Angels with the lead.
And it is Caleb Frere. He inherits Trout at first base. There's nobody out. The Angels trying to look for a little insurance.
Ohtani got the left-hander bummer last time. And here is Caleb Frere and what he's done so far in his career. Left-hand side from Ohtani. Polka makes the call and has the ball. One out, Upton coming up, and Caleb Frere will be left there to face a couple of right-handers, it looks like.
This is what Ricky wants to see. He wants to see he got the left-hander out. That's good. That leaves an impression on Ricky and Don Cooper. And now he wants to see how he fares with the right-handers. And this is all in preparation for evaluation over the wintertime and see who's going to come to spring training, who's going to be considered, and pretty much what kind of work they're going to get. So each and every opportunity for Caleb Frere and everybody else, all the young players in this team, is auditioning for spots next year.
It's not a hard and fast thing that when you pitch well, you're going to get a spot next season. However, you leave the coaches and the manager in the front office with an idea of what you can do that's even better than what they expected. It's a nice leg up.
Well, there's going to be a whole lot of meetings going to be held between all of the Sox evaluators, everybody in the front office, They're going to talk about the plans they have in spring training. Now, you're going to get fooled a couple of different places by certain people. However, you're going to have a good idea who you're going to give chances to in the spring.
That's strike 3. No chance for an appeal. 2 down as we take a look at what we purchased at the swap meet. I've got the guy on the left, you've got the guy on the right. Who could it be? Ichiro and Ohtani. Overseas 95 with the Oryx Blue Wave for Ichiro. 2016 with the Nippon Ham Fighters for Ohtani.
But this is kind of a good deal because your guy's retired and my guy's just starting.
Well, it was when they were 21. I got 21-year-old Ichiro.
Yeah, but he's still retired.
I got a whole career in front of me that I know what it's going to be. Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
I like the upside of Ohtani.
Me too.
Because that's actually who I'm stuck with. So
I just happened to buy Ichiro,
which is
never
good.
a bad purchase. He was so fun to watch hit in his prime.
No, just a tremendous player. It was wonderful to watch in every aspect of the game because he was as well trained as anybody that I have ever seen come into the game.
Really?
Yeah, he did everything almost like it was an instructional video. Every aspect of his game, from base running to taking jumps.
This goes ricocheting all the way toward the dugout. And a good job by Caleb Frere to cover third base to make sure that there was somebody there so Trout didn't go streaking another base.
This is a wild pitch, and Caleb Frere does what a lot of players should do, in that go to the open base. If you have no responsibilities on a play, go to an open base. And that's what he did, and made sure that Trout had to stay right where he was at second.
Pretty easy rule to follow for young players.
Well, many times you see them wandering in the infield, not knowing exactly where to go.
Lofted to left. Polka squares it up. Caleb Frere gets 3 outs in a row. Bottom 7. Sox still within 3. The MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it's Hansel Robles, on for the 45th time. He's 2-3 ERA, a touch over 4. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Opponent's hitting .274. That's a high number. Tim Anderson's going to lead it off with the bottom part of the order due up here in the bottom of the 7th.
He'll give up base runners for his career, 1.3 walks and hits per inning, and the last couple of years 1.5. So you're going to have a chance to make a little bit of a run here, you would imagine. First one, ball 1. The walk rate has been high previously in his career, let alone the batting average against. One inning from Bedrosian. 1 strikeout, no base runners after Shoemaker went 5 and gave up 2 earned runs.
That fastball at 98, so he had a little something on it.
.28 years old, out of the Dominican Republic, Robles. One and two. Came inside, and Tim just had to try and get it away from his body.
I think that was a good job of making sure that ball didn't hit him, because I'm not too sure if he misses it, if it doesn't get a piece of it. That ball was bearing down inside pretty well.
Didn't start that way. Looked like, at least to Tim, reaction-wise, that he thought that was going to be a hittable pitch. Ball and 2 strikes. Climbing fastball at 98. The ultimate puzzle in Major League Baseball is an eventual journeyman who throws 98 or 99, because at every stop there's somebody that says, I've had a guy like him, I could fix him.
Well, that's one of the reasons why guys with big fastballs continue to get jobs. Assuming they're going to stay healthy, they're going to find a place to get a job with a fastball like that.
1-2. Anderson fouls it away, and that's nothing against anybody who's ever said that. That's the job of a pitching coach or minor league pitching coordinator, whomever it might be, to look and have enough pride in what they've done in the past and say, I absolutely can help this person change. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, it's worked over the years very, very well here in Chicago with Don Cooper. You get one of these pitchers that's fallen on hard times, maybe it was a high draft pick early with another organization. Don can usually get him better.
That was a ball. For those of you just learning the game, Coop's got some coffee there, I think.
That's Steve McCaddy, minor league pitching coach, to his right, former major league pitcher.
Oh, he's a little strong. Who brewed that? Coop wants to go back, see what's in there. What you got? Your wine tasters kind of swirl it around in the mouth, get the aroma. Coop's a coffee taster.
Oh yeah, got a good palate.
In the air at foul right side. I think that was a coffee commercial. I mean, turn mug to the camera, give us the pout there. He's got a future in the coffee marketing business.
So Lopez has lost his perfect game, but it was a walk. So the no-hitter is still intact.
Leadoff walk to Max Kepler in the 9th inning, and the Royals still don't have a perfect game in their club history.
Nope.
2-2. That's outside and low. 3 balls, 2 strikes as Tim makes Robles work. This will be a 10th pitch coming up. On a payoff pitch. He misses low, ball 4, leadoff walk for Anderson. as we open up the Sox Vault and see what's inside. It's been a while, might be a little musty in there. Inside the vault tonight is Dave Gallagher, who played 307 games with the Sox from 88 to 90. He was pushed out of a starting assignment. Lance Johnson and Sammy Sosa. And Jeff Torborg shows up again. He was in as a defensive replacement to keep the consecutive game streak alive. 37 games a year before, including all the games this year too. But Lance Johnson, when he's pushing you to get into the lineup and there's a division to be won in 1993, you listen.
Yeah, you can understand where he would have taken over his spot. Lance was a really good player.
Yes, he was. Fun to watch on the bases, fun to watch in center field. Fun to talk to when we've had him in the booth. Robles to Kevin Smith. Anderson at first on a 10-pitch walk.
Hey, you guys were talking about Tim Anderson earlier, the career highs that he's been setting with stolen bases. How about he's going to have career highs when this season is over in runs, doubles, homers, RBIs, stolen bases, and walks. Pretty impressive year. If you want to call it a comeback year for Tim Anderson.
If you want to look, especially defensively as well, if you want to look for a really positive sign from this season, which has seen some injuries that you'd certainly rather not have, Tim Anderson in his year is a number one.
Well, there's no doubt every aspect of his game has gotten better, but nothing has gotten better as much as the defensive aspect of it, because that has come along in a hurry, and he's played very strong defense at shortstop the better part of the last 2 months.
Now look, Robles, we told you, the door will creak open at some point in this inning. It's a matter if the Sox walk through or if he makes a big pitch in a key spot like here on 2-2. Anderson at first, nobody out. Bottom 7. Kevin spoils it foul.
Tried to get him with a slider, but he was able to battle and foul it off.
Robbie Grossman is single to center field. The no-hitter is over for Jorge Lopez. So he took a perfect game into the 9th and ended up neither with the perfect game nor the no-hitter. Two coming. Kevin on the ground through the right side, as he's prone to do. Anderson back to second. Sox have 2 on and nobody out here in the 7th.
Kevin with his second hit of the night. RBI double in the 4th. This base hit to keep the rally going here in the 7th, and the Sox are in business. He just reaches out, puts this ball in play. This is a very much of a defensive swing, but when you make contact, many times good things happen. That's what happened with Kevin Smith.
He came in 6 for his last 12. He's 2 for 3 tonight. And Charles Nagy out of the dugout to talk to Robles, who's allowed 2 base runners so far, and the Sox are in business here in the 7th. Only 4 mound visits left for the Angels. Whatever will they do? That's a rule that there was a lot of hand-wringing before the season. Catchers and pitchers saying, what are you doing? We need to talk a lot more. Nobody's exhausting their mound visits.
No, and I don't think anybody will.
And there are fewer mound visits.
Yes. Oh, considerably fewer.
It's actually a perfect rule change. Nobody's really being hurt by it, and it's doing what it was applied to do.
No, this was a good one.
Now Engel. Well, if you're Charles Nagy and you go out to the mound and you have a good conversation, you come back to the dugout and you say, okay, we're all squared away. And the next pitch is in the other batter's box.
Well, one of the reasons why he was out there and took as much time as he did was allow that bullpen to get loose in case Henzer has some problems this time.
"1-0. Adam hits it in the air, center field. Trout makes the catch. So it's up to Moncada. And the Angel bullpen, as you were talking about, is up and going. Justin Anderson getting loose out in right field.
Tim started to take off and then thought better of it as Trout got the ball back in. All Tim wanted to do was force a throw. He got that throw and then retreated to the bag.
Yoan, the tying run. 17 homers this year. His first full season in the majors. A double in the first and a run scored. Robles lets it rip for a strike at 97. Tim at second, Kevin at first. One. 93 to the edge, 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. Down the middle, strike 3. Fans experience Levy Restaurant's fine dining while enjoying a breathtaking view of Guaranteed Rate Field from the Huntington Bank Stadium Club. Memberships are available to season ticket holders and also perfect for non-game day events, including weddings and corporate parties. For more info, call 312-674-1000. 2 out, 2 on, Yolmer Sanchez. Make sure to stack your patio furniture tonight. It is all kinds of windy.
Yeah, it's gonna have an effect on a lot of people's landscaping.
You don't want to find your deck chair down the road 5 houses. Might want to put it inside tonight. Wake up, your trash can is 3 blocks away.
Judging by this wind, likely possibility.
Let's go downstairs and see if Chuck is unmoored.
Yeah, it's really windy out there. In fact, this is Manny. He's a security guard. He came out in between innings to get some of the wrapping paper that was in the outfield grass. And what did you find? Oh, $10 in the outfield. How about that? Hey, nice to see you, Manny. All right, back to you guys.
Wow, live theft. Awesome. Good for Manny. That's awesome. Chuck Garfien playing 3-card Monte with the grounds crew tonight.
You never know
when
when
do a report with this.
You never know when you can pick up a few bucks. I mean, it's a nice plan. Let me take a look at that. You sure the numbers are in the right order? Come on, let me see.
What a lucrative job. People are going to be flooding the office with applications to be part of the grounds crew.
Not bad.
Anderson at second, Smith at first. Up and out, 2-2. Yolmer still has yet to make it out tonight. 2 doubles and a walk. Big spot here against Robles. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. To right field. Calhoun on the run. He's over there. Out number 3. Sox tried to cash in but couldn't. Guess who did? Our felon on the sideline. Chuck, get him an orange jumpsuit. Game, you get a souvenir. Let's play rank the foul ball catches. This is Anaheim, July 25th. Steve went after it, sort of, and I pretended to catch it. Then Sunday, AJ off a ball that was not as well hit, but a mighty fine catch. A wonderful grab by AJ Pierzynski.
Bet he did.
Last night, Chuck Garfien plucking a foul ball. And then tonight, the best effort of them all, with Ward swinging. Just trying to keep score here into a baseball game.
I think we'll pretty much give AJ that one hands down.
By a mile.
Yeah.
By an absolute mile. So Marte on to pinch hit. Frere was on the mound, and Frere will be leaving. So we've got a pitching change. Caleb Frere, 1 inning. We also have sponsors we need to tell you about. You rate the foul balls while we go away. Buy something, we sell you during the break.
is Ian Hamilton. Got a very nice arm, on for the third time. He hasn't given up anything. A couple of strikeouts and 2 1/3. And the game is in his hands as far as keeping it at a 3-run deficit.
So Jeffrey Marte was announced as a pinch hitter, and Hamilton out of Washington State, where there is some greenery up in Pullman. That is going all out for halfway to St. Patrick's Day. Hate to see what he's like at full St. Patrick's Day if that's halfway.
It's a good look.
Marte against Hamilton, who made his major league debut this season. Ball 1.
I was watching Marte take batting practice today, and he hit the ball 3/4 of the way up the bleachers in left center field. I mean, that is a strong man. Don't know if he quite had the same velocity he's going to face from Hamilton, but he hit him a long way.
One of the fun things we get to do when certain teams are in town is get to reminisce about former Sox players who are around on the coaching staff. And for more, here's Chuck.
Yeah, so let's go back to game 2 of the ALCS 2005. Game's tied at 1 in the 9th inning. A guy by the name of A.J. Przinsky appears to strike out, but there was a catcher by the name of Josh Paul who was responsible for that drop third strike. Guess who the bench coach of the Los Angeles Angels is?
Who's that?
That would be Josh Paul.
How about that?
Pablo Ozuna would pinch run for AJ. He stole second base, and he would score on the Joe Creedy RBI double. If that hadn't happened, the White Sox might have gone down 0-2 in that ALCS. Instead, it was tied at 1.
You never know when you're going to be back to the scene of the crime.
It's true.
Josh Paul, of course, with the Sox from '99 to 2003.
To this day, if you ask them, Scioscia or Josh Paul, they would say that was a strikeout.
They'll say that for a long, long time, I think. AJ, I think, disputes it.
Where's Doug Eddings when you need him? He was the home plate umpire.
It's true. Isn't it amazing to think about how that series might have turned? Knew it was a big play at the time, didn't know how big. To left field, and this will fall down. Time now for our Rocket Mortgage breakdown. And you mentioned Mike Scioscia, who don't know if this is his final year with the Angels. He is the longest tenured manager in Major League Baseball. Coach Q, 11 seasons with the Hawks. Belichick, 19 in New England. And Greg Popovich, 23 seasons in San Antonio, the longest tenure in the 4 major sports.
Pretty amazing. That is a great run for all those guys.
Popovich's coaching tree, especially Belichick's too, spreading throughout those leagues. Garcia, 2 groundouts to short and a strikeout. 6-3 Angels in the 8th. You and Hawk will have the call tomorrow, 1:10 start time over on WGN for game 3 of this series. Angels are here for one more, then Kansas City, Baltimore, and Cleveland for a 9-game, 11-day road trip.
It's going to be Andrew Heaney against Ronaldo Lopez. That ball game tomorrow. Lefty-righty matchup.
And a meeting at the mound. Plane's going to be a little bit more crowded than it usually is.
You would think so.
One with some extra players on the roster. 40-man rosters in effect as of September 1st. Can't have like 9 popsicles on the flight anymore. Got to save some for the middle relievers.
Yeah, well, It'll be a heartache, but we'll make it
You'll
through.
make do?
Yeah.
Be all right. Two and 0 from Hamilton. Ward at first, 1 out in the inning. 96 to the edge, 2-1. Great year in Charlotte for Hamilton. Great year in Birmingham. Got him to Charlotte. An ERA in the 1.7s combined in the minors. And really, there wasn't a whole lot of option for the Sox as he forced the hand.
Just kept on throwing better. And every step up, there was no diminishing the quality of his efforts.
Double-A kind of ambushed him last year. He was a 5.21 ERA man in 14 appearances last year, but then he got acclimated, and that jump from high A to Double-A sometimes is the most difficult one, people will argue.
Well, especially these days with so many great skilled players in Double-A.
On the ground, Anderson, Moncada, another double play. Third turn by the Sox this evening. Series finale, we take a look at Verizon's projected starters for that final game. Heaney against Lopez, and Ronaldo trying to lower that ERA under 4 maybe by the end of the year if he can really get it moving.
He's been throwing pretty well lately. Hopefully more of the same tomorrow afternoon in the day game finale of a very long homestand, and then it's a very long road trip. A new pitcher in the ball game. And it is Justin Anderson on for the 52nd time. ERA at 3.38. That's good. A 3-3 record with 18 holds. He's been very effective out of the pen. 63 strikeouts in 50 2/3.
It's a big number in defensive changes. Jeffrey Marte and at first Caleb Coward has checked in at third for the Angels. Anderson is a former Roadrunner. Out of the University of Texas, San Antonio, another Angels rookie, and there is visual evidence of Coward. It's like the Old West in here. Tumbleweeds rolling on by.
This is about as windy a night as we've seen, and there has been no let up. In fact, probably windier now than when the game started. Over 27,000 here tonight, so a nice crowd.
Flags have become pinwheel arrows. Here, look, the pinwheels. Yeah, really nice crowd. Sox trying to put on a comeback late with 6 outs to go. Angels have 5 RBIs from Mike Trout. So if you're here as a baseball fan and you understand that sometimes you're going to lose the game due to greatness, this may be one of those nights. If I were to have a ball, well, you do it like this. You have any idea what they were doing?
I was leaning on Itsy Bitsy Spider, but apparently not.
That's what I thought too, but I think that might be a little antiquated. Hey, what'd you do with your friend? We went to the Sox game and did Itsy Bitsy Spider in the front row. I was gonna say that, but that ain't a water spout.
No, apparently not.
Put it on Snapchat, or Itsy Bitsy Spider fun at the ballpark.
That can happen.
2 young baseball fans. Two and 2. Fouled away. Avi 1 for 3 with an RBI after a 2 for 2 last night. Angels bullpen unscored upon so far this evening. Two balls, 2 strikes. He got him for strike 3. Throw to first. He dropped that ball, so Avi gives himself up.
Yeah, that if he hadn't given himself up, probably standing on first right now. Of course, it might have been a whole lot different if he hadn't started to walk away.
Yeah, Marte was well off the bag, but Garcia got right up and threw it to first. And first base was unoccupied. So it would have been a foot race. You imagine Marte would have gotten there, but a play you don't see every day. Daniel Polka, a big rip for strike 1.
Anderson's stuff is pretty good.
Seemed like it. Time for the BP home run leaders. Daniel Polka, one of 3 with at least 20 home runs this season for the White Sox, and what a rookie year it's been for him. He wants 25 at least. Grenade of a fastball, 2-1. Slider that got away, 3-1. That thing had a mind of its own.
A lot of movement on it, but not even close.
There's Wellington Castillo on deck. 6-3 Angels in the 8th. Fastball count for Daniel. Fastball away, ball 4. Time now for a little White Sox history. We go back to the very early days of this franchise. William Ellsworth Hoy, a 2-run walk-off single off Cy Young in the Sox 4-3 win. The first batter in that year in 1901 was William Hoy, who his teammates rather disparagingly referred to as dummy. But William Hoy with a walk-off single against Cy Young.
And Cy Young never won the award.
He did okay for himself, though.
I would say if you have the most wins and the most losses in baseball history, you're probably a whole lot better than everybody else in your time frame.
As durable as can be.
I guess. Here's the ball. Go pitch.
On the ground, Anderson spears it, goes to second. Did he get the bag is the question, and the answer is yes. It's a double play for the Angels. In the 8th, double plays galore in the game. Joe's going to the phone. We'll see if they review it. 6-3 as it stands. The bullpen.
And Jace Fry is on. Try to keep it right at 6-3. On for the 51st time. ERA of 3.86. And opponent's batting average 179. That's a miraculous number with left-handers hitting a paltry 114.
He's been tremendous.
Yeah, he has
for
been.
the most part. Another positive sign this year for the Sox, and he will face Calhoun first in the 9th. For strike 1. By the way, the major league record for most double plays in one game in 9 innings was 10 back in 1990. The Red Sox and Twins combined for 10. The Sox and Angels tonight have 6 combined double plays. So it would take extra innings. On the ground, Anderson scoops it, and it goes wide.
We'll take another look. Tim comes on, charging it. And that one gets away. It's E6.
One on, nobody out for Fletcher. And a throw on to first. Fletcher 10 for 23 against the Sox this year. He takes a strike.
Angels pen up and going. Blake Parker. He's got the most saves on this team.
He would be the option in a 3-run game, it seems.
Vieira loosening in the pen.
Thiago getting ready just in case. Two one. Late swing on a cutter inside. 2-2. Mike Trout's next. He's 4 for 4. That one is clipped into the glove for the out. Now wait a second, it kicked up some dirt. I thought Guccione might get overruled. It did clip a little bit of the dirt, so it's going to be a foul tip, I believe.
Well, I think Ben May said that he saw some dirt kick up and that the ball was in the dirt.
Dust in the wind.
Yeah, that's not that difficult to call.
That's why you got 4 umpires.
That's it. Just get it right.
Clipped foul again. Still 2-2 on Fletcher. There is Mike Trout. 4 for 4 tonight after a couple intentional walks and being hit by a pitch yesterday. Fletcher is a really tough out.
Certainly has been in the games that we've seen him. I mean, he had a good series in Anaheim, having a couple of good games here in the first 2.
Calhoun read that well. On because of the error against Anderson. Two balls, 2 strikes. Inside 3-2. Jace Fry, Calhoun at first. 3-2 pitch. Fouled away again. 10th pitch coming. And time from Kevin Smith. Angels got 3 in the first and 3 in the third, and that's it so far. Although the Sox have only gone 1, 2, 3 on the mound once tonight.
Yeah, there's really been ample opportunity to push across a couple, but interrupted by double plays.
In the dirt, ball 4. It's a walk to Fletcher. Trout coming up at 4 for 4. So you got Trout, the right-hander, Ohtani, the lefty after. And it looks like it will be Fry to face Trout with Ohtani next. Mike Trout somehow, in his already illustrious career, only has one 5-hit game. Which is funny to say, but considering the numbers, you'd imagine it might be more.
I'm sure he's gotten a 4 quite a few times.
And Mike Trout has been a thorn in the side of the White Sox this season. 28 plate appearances. He has reached base 21 times this year. That's an on-base percentage of .750.
Yeah, that's a pain in the neck.
I would say that's pretty stout.
Down 0-2 here. You mentioned the 4-hit games. He's had at least 4 hits now 16 times. So this is his 15th 4-hit game, 1 5-hit game in his career. The guy's career on base percentage before tonight was .416.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
.985 career on base plus slugging. Two on, nobody out, and Trout takes inside. .27 years old. That's high, 2-2 to Trout. He has the world on a string. Breaking ball just away, very close, 3-2. An impeccable eye to go along with a staunch bat. He locks in on Fry. In the air on a bloop. Short right center field and down. The second 5-hit game of Mike Trout's career comes tonight against the Sox.
Well, you have to play him deep, and when you do, occasionally he hits one and puts it in a perfect spot. You couldn't have thrown it out there any better. Doesn't get a big piece of it, but he gets enough of it, and it drops into right center field.
The leadoff error compounds into a walk, then a single. Back-to-back full counts gone wrong. Trout at first, Fletcher at second, Calhoun at third, and Ohtani takes ball 1. A game that's been 6-3 since the end of the 4th inning. Threatening to be shoved over the cliff. First base side, fair ball. To the corner, where it rings around to unload the bases. Ohtani showing the wheels. He wanted to think about it. He stops at third. Ball goes rolling toward third. And it's a 3-run triple for Shohei Ohtani. It's a 9-3 game.
Ohtani's now driven in 53 as he rifles this one down the line. No chance at all for Davidson. This is a rocket. And then it gets hung up in the corner. And Ohtani is off to the races.
It's going to be all for Jace Fry. The error, then the walk, and a single from Trout. Ohtani with the big blow. To the bullpen we go. Thiago Vieira was warming. He comes out after a fist pound. 9-3 Angels.
Thiago Vieira comes in the ball game for the 13th time. His ERA, 9.53. He inherits Ohtani at third base. Unfortunately, now it is a 6-run game.
Angels have been pushing that rock up the hill for innings now. Haven't been able to cross. A couple of double plays helped the Sox, but this 9th inning, it's busted open. Justin Upton, an RBI single in the first, a couple of strikeouts and a pop out. High into the sky from Upton. Kevin Smith has it for out number 1.
That was not as easy a play as it looked because the wind is taking that baseball all over. In fact, so much so that Yolmer came sprinting in from third base. I want to see if Kevin needed some help. He didn't. He was able to catch it, stay under it, and put it away. Towering pop-up.
Well, the wind tonight is really acting as a blindfold. You got no shot to really be sure where the ball is going to land. To the corner, a strike for Andrelton Simmons, who's 2 for 4. He's having a good old night. Average up to 296.
You say having a terrific year, knocking at the door at 300.
As you said yesterday, he already plays all-star defense.
He's done that from the beginning. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's played great defense.
And he doesn't strike out.
And you can't strike him out very often.
Like at all. Lowest in the majors.
6.4.
He's 0-2 here. Thiago misses outside to the backstop. Ohtani scores, and Vieira crumples him.
And Ohtani looks like he could be hurt.
Ohtani checking on Vieira as he walks on by, and let's see if Shohei's okay and Thiago. Ooh, that right ankle.
It looked like the left knee. For me, it's the left knee of Vieira. Got him right in the knee. Got Ohtani in the knee. So he appears to be okay, although he's going to feel that. Vieira's a big man, and that was a big impact.
So Fry, 4 runs, 3 earned. Two balls, 2 strikes on Simmons. 10-3 Angels in game 2 of this series.
Yeah,
I had it.
Now that was just below us, but it didn't miss by much.
I was right here over our monitor.
Yeah, that was fairly close.
Joe Grube, our stage manager, is on the deck. His pencil fell. Two and 2. Yeah, the dirt. Let's see what happened on the foul ball, I'm told by the truck.
When I saw it going to hit the bottom here,
yeah,
I figured it's time to cover up at that point. If it had stayed up, might have had a shot. Once it hit the bottom, I was not going to get the ricochet.
We're under siege tonight.
Yeah, I know. This has been a target-rich environment.
Ball 4. Simmons was down 0-2. He is tough to get into swing mode, and he walks. paint a bullseye on your face and not know it?
No, there's been a couple that have been very close. So
Pretty well hit,
Yeah.
too.
mm-hmm.
Simmons takes second base. Don Cooper waiting around for Mr. Wright. Ball no strikes to Marte, and that one's in the dirt. Stylistically, not your best ninth inning you're going to see.
No, not yet. We hold hope, though.
It's like cubism, though. It depends on how you look at it. 2 balls and a strike.
That ball was a good 5 inches off the outside corner. Marte decided for some reason he could not live without swinging at that one.
Maybe he's cold.
That could very well be. It's getting a little chillier here.
Brisk.
Yeah.
2-1 from Vieira. That one's outside, just about the same spot, and Marte wasn't going to bite. Five runs driven in from Mike Trout. He's scored 3 as well. Ohtani 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored and a stolen base. 3-1 hit hard through the left side. Simmons stops at third. Runners at the corners with 1 out for the Angels, and now a 7 turning to 8 batter inning.
And here comes Don Cooper.
I need a little more coffee.
I think the pep talk probably goes this way. Take a look over your right shoulder. Look at the bullpen. You see anybody up? No, it's yours. Throw some strikes and get them out.
Thanks, Coach. I'm ready to go.
That's pretty much.
You fired me up.
That's pretty much how this one's going to go, I think. It's you against the world.
Boy, why don't you go on motivational speaking tours? I want to jump through a wall for you right now.
There you go.
Hey, look. You've heard it yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean,
people have said it to you.
They have indeed a number of times.
Caleb Coward in his first at bat. Best thing about baseball is you get to do it again tomorrow. Or later today, depending on the length of each affair. One and 0 on Coward. 2-0. Kevin's really got to work here.
Yeah, this is the difficult thing. He's had a tough night anyway. I mean, 16 hits, 10 runs for the Angels to this point. They've been knocking at the door trying to score each and every one of the innings up until this one. And Kevin's had a very long night, and now he's moving around quite a bit.
Right side and through. Base hit for Coward. Simmons home. Marte to second base. Ninth batter of the inning. is the catcher Garcia, who's going to be pulled back. So it's the reserve catcher Watson. Joe Hudson, I should say. Might need Watson and Sherlock before this one's over.
Bring him in.
It's a major league debut for Hudson, and a great story. He posted a couple of days ago on Twitter, to those minor league baseball guys who think it's close to being over, I was in extended spring for almost a month this year. Never lose sight of what you really want in life. Everyone has different roads. A nice motivational message.
It is.
And he almost got coconutted.
We talked about what a lot of teams will bring up toward the end, and whether you're in contention or not, you like to have another catcher brought up. So if you are a catcher, and it doesn't matter where you are in the organization, you might have a chance to play into the month of September, because teams want another catcher. They want at least one speed guy. And so just about each and every team will bring up a couple of guys that help lengthen that roster.
On the ground, and he'll get his first RBI. Hudson drives in Marte, and the Angels add on one more. Congratulations to Hudson. 2 down in the inning, and the top of the order, Calhoun, who bet he didn't think he'd be batting again after he grounded the ball to shortstop. That's Coward at third. Angels with a 6-run inning. And a strike call. The old 6-run 9th trick. One and two. Big night for the Angels offense after a 5-2 win yesterday. Home runs have been a major part of what they've done early in these games. Ohtani, a 3-run shot yesterday. Trout, 5 driven in on homers. This one pinballs around, and they do get the out at the plate. What a fortunate bounce for Kevin Smith to retire the side. Pinball wizard Kevin Smith. Where's the runner? There he is. See ya.
wonderful career where he goes 5 for 5, starting with a 2-run homer, coming back with a 3-run homer, following that up with a little dunker to center field, then a ground ball through the right side, and another little looper to right center, and any way you slice it, that's 5 for 5 for Mike Trout. Jim Johnson comes in the ball game on for the 55th time.
He replaces Anderson. 1 inning, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Changes galore during the break. Jabari Blash has come in to play right field. Cole Calhoun moves over to center. Mike Trout gets the rest of the night off. You did good, kid, as Ryan Cordell takes a strike. Cordell for Davidson here in the 9th. Jose Rondon has grabbed a bat. He'll bat for Anderson. Sox will empty the bench. Foul ball, third base side. Foul ball, third base side.
Got it across nicely.
Foul ball, third base side.
It was not fair, however.
As sometimes life, that ball was not fair. .110 tomorrow, first pitch, Sox and Angels here at Guaranteed Rate Field. That game over on WGN as Ryan Cordell is in search of his first major league hit. See if Ryan can get himself a keepsake tonight. Two and two.
Jim Johnson at one point was a terrific closer for the Baltimore Orioles. Had some just wonderful years.
It's part of a bullpen tonight that's given up only 1 hit in 3 innings so far. Sox had 7 hits against the starter Shoemaker. 2-2. Outside to Cordell. 3 balls, 2 strikes. There's Rondon awaiting his chance in this 9th inning. Ryan Cordell out of Liberty University, Lynchburg, Virginia. Fouls the ball off his leg. Three and two, he clipped foul. Looked like it would have been ball 4. Ryan stays alive.
No sense leaving it in the hands of Chris Guccione. You might as well, if you think it's close enough, swing at it. And he kept the at bat alive.
Pitch number 10 to third. Coward uncorks a strong throw for out number 1.
Nice pick and a nice play on both ends.
Marte over at first. Fernandez started there. Ward started at third. Rondon takes ball one. Sox would have needed to win today and tomorrow to win the season series against the Angels after splitting in Anaheim. Would be a fourth straight loss for the Sox after playing some outstanding baseball before that. Sox also with 3 runs tonight. It would be 5 straight games with 4 runs or fewer after the offense had surged for a while.
Well, there's no doubt. Look, the team played very good baseball over a prolonged period of time and didn't appear to miss Jose Abreu that much. However, this is not near as good a team without Jose Abreu in there. So whenever it is, whether it's tomorrow or the day after, we will certainly welcome back Jose. Hopefully he can add to those numbers and finish this year healthy at the very least.
Well, you can do a lot of things for one day in baseball.
I mean, this team actually put together a pretty good run, but over any type of extended period of time, you take out the best run producer on the team, you're going to feel it.
Yeah, at some point it sneaks up, or doesn't even sneak up. It just hits you over the head.
Just, all of a sudden you look up and you have a streak like this where you have a hard time scoring runs.
1-2. Check swing, ball in the dirt, and he didn't go. You know, that's the type of call where umpires, sometimes you hear people say, and we've thought it before, hey, that's a late game strike zone or whatever it might be, but you got Ben May over at first really trying to get it right. He easily could have rung him up, said no, and it continues 3-2.
It was a good call. He didn't appear to swing the bat, and so look, they're trying to get everything they can right each and every play. Not going to happen, but they get it right most of the time.
That's strike 3 and 2 gone. Kevin Smith, who's 2 for 3 tonight, one last crack at it. And a ground ball wide of third. Angels got to James Shields early for a couple of home runs tonight. Shoemaker was good enough. 5 innings, 3 earned runs. Outdueling Shields. And here we stand.
Tough night for James at 4 1/3. And then it was a cast of thousands out of the pen. 6 relievers tonight.
On 2. There's a breaking ball in the dirt. Get yourself a White Sox water bottle coming up tomorrow.
Can't beat that.
Coca-Cola Family Sunday. Better days ahead. Foul ball, first base side, and that is the one place you're guaranteed it's going to get out of play tonight with the wind howling to right field. Flags have stayed busy.
Yep, they have indeed, with no let up in sight, and I think it's going to be here tomorrow.
Day baseball with some wind could be fun. Kevin wide of third. One ball, 2 strikes. Jim Johnson downstairs. Two and two. That is a swing and a miss. Strike three. He can't find the ball. Kevin takes off. Throw to first. And on a wacky night, a fitting end to a 12-3 Angels victory.
Unfortunately, James Shields did not have it. That's one of the rare times where the starter had a tough time, and then the bullpen held it close for a while, but the offense could not come back. And the Angels are the victors tonight. Day game tomorrow. I will see you on the plane.
Sounds good. You and Hawk tomorrow. 1:10 start time on WGN. For our producer, Keon Dola-Shahi, our director, Jim Angio. Our associate producer, Mike Norman. Tech manager, Mark Harper. The executive producer, Greg Bowman. And our entire NBC Sports crew. Chuck Carpine downstairs, Steve Stone here. Jason Benetti saying so long to Guaranteed Rate Field on behalf of our entire crew. Coming up next, Subaru White Sox postgame live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago. Talk to you soon.